Welcome everyone to the Everything Show, episode 200. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Okay, so a lot of things to talk about. We haven't had the Everything Show for a while. Quite a few stories have come up as of late, especially X-Men Apocalypse. You heard the stories going on today and yesterday, right, Chris?
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
Well, they're going to have the cast of First Class. It's going to be about them again. It's going to be in 1983, and they're going to recast Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, but they're going to
Wow.
have Hugh Jackman in it, and Professor X is going to go bald. Obviously, in this one. There's also talk of Channing Tatum as Gambit,
Yeah.
and they're basically going to try to show how the universe is different, altered since Days of Future Past. And they'll have adventures with that Wolverine that doesn't know them, and then somehow all his memories will be merged together when he does Wolverine 3. But supposedly because the timeline was altered, that kind of affects why Apocalypse comes to be. Because
Okay.
because I guess he senses that time was manipulated, and it's I guess bringing him into the fold. So of course, at the end of it, it's going to continue the same timeline as we saw in Days of Future Past. But they have many X-Men movies planned, so I'm really excited about that. They even said a new Nightcrawler, like a young Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
so
Yeah, I never liked how he kind of disappeared after X2. And they never mentioned him in X3. They didn't say anything about him in any of the other ones. So if they bring him back, I think that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, and also too, this whole nonsense in the comics where they're killing off Wolverine,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep him dead. I'm pissed off about it because we know, like, if you know from reading comics, if you did, they're going to bring him back before Wolverine 3 comes out.
Oh, of
I
course.
mean, that's what they did with Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. He was back in the comics. So why even bother? That's what I don't understand. And supposedly they're going to have a couple of new Weapon X people that are going to be, have
Yeah.
more claws and all stupid stuff like that. So I'm not.
Whenever I hear comic book characters dying, go ahead.
No, it's chopping cat. I'm trying to listen to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whenever I hear comic book characters are dying, I just kind of roll my eyes and say, oh, yeah, they'll be dead for a few months and then they'll resurrect them in some manner.
Yeah. I just think that I don't know why they're making multiple Weapon X soldiers. That's what I'm not happy with. They're trying to make like five Wolverine, like five different Wolverines or whatever. Whatever these rumors are spread that they're going to create more Weapon X.
What are they going to be, like Team Wolverine or something?
I don't know.
Just without him?
I'm not happy with it. But he is going to come back, of course, when Wolverine 3 comes out. So Hugh Jackman's going to do X-Men Apocalypse. He's going to do Wolverine 3. And also the good news is that we got Deadpool.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Ryan Reynolds supposedly they're going to get it done finally, which they delayed Fantastic Four movie because of it.
Really?
Yeah, that's been delayed significantly, as well as Assassin's Creed by 20th Century has been taken off the schedule because they said due to Fassbender's schedule as well as script rewrites, so they took it off for 2016 totally. So we'll have to see because he's also doing Fassbender's also doing besides X-Men, he's going to be doing Prometheus 2, and I think he's starting 3 also. So he's pretty busy. So now we got news today, not related, but Christopher Walken is going to be Captain Hook.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is, interesting. I guess it's a musical for NBC. I don't know. I guess they did that with Sound of Music, so they're going to be doing their own little things. What about Spider-Man? What do you think's going on with the Spider-Man franchise?
Well, I keep hearing all this stuff that the current actors are signed on till the Amazing Spider-Man 3. I don't know what's going on with that right now because I know that's in all kind of, that whole thing is in like development hell because of, what went down with Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And to tell you the truth, I think Spider-Man as a movie franchise is starting to lose its prestige,
Yeah,
if that's the right word to use, with crowds because there are still Spider-Man fans, of course, but
right.
I think people are starting to wonder why Spider-Man is still going. There's a
Yeah,
lot of people who still think that this is whole one long movie series,
right.
and I think a lot of people too are saying, why isn't he ever going to be a part of the Avengers?
Right.
And
Well,
I think to breathe life into the Spider-Man series, they just Sony and Marvel, they just need to say, you know what, let's iron out a deal to get him into this movie because you need him if you're going to do Infinity Gauntlet, which
right.
is obviously where they're going now.
That's the third movie for Avengers.
Yeah, you can't deny it now. I mean, nobody can. It's on the table. The Infinity Stones there.
Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to be in Avengers 3 also.
Exactly. So I
So,
say if you're going to do that, why would you not say, hey, we have an integral part of this storyline.
right.
Why not? Let's work something out, and
What's
then
the
you can build
politics
the
behind it?
Spider-Man
Because
universe.
they were going to do a crossover.
Yeah.
They were all together, and then all of a sudden, from what I understand, Josh Whedon was announced. He did it really early to announce Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were
Mm.
going to be in Avengers 2. And what happened was, I think Brian Singer?
Bryan
He
Singer.
said he wasn't going to have too many mutants, and then he changed his whole thing and he added Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch purposely because Josh Whedon did it. And that basically gave Marvel Disney the finger,
Yeah.
okay? And all hopes of a crossover was thrown out the window, okay? Where Marvel's even trying to lessen the comic books, killing off Wolverine because 20th Century has X-Men. They're lessening the X-Men books, lessening Fantastic Four. They're hurting their own comics because they don't want 20th Century to prosper with the Marvel movies. So it's disgusting. I'm just like in shock that this is going on. Like, just do your comics like usual. Like they told anybody writing the books, you can't have new characters in there. You can't have this. And then Jim Starlin, I think, who does the Infinity stuff, he did
Hmm.
Infinity Gauntlet and all that. He was gonna have. They said he can't do this, he can't do that. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, why, why are you telling a writer how to write the books? And it's like they're altering everything that they want to do. So it's stupid that there's no reason to kill Wolverine, and that's kind of connected probably to the 20th Century Fox thing because they're really with the comics they're lessening it. They had a poster for like the anniversary of Marvel Comics, like the 75th anniversary, and they didn't even have Fantastic Four on there. They didn't even have like 20th century characters that they say, look, it's their fault because they sold the movie rights to them for a profit, and then okay, Disney buys you. Well, it's too late. You sold it. You can't get it back. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna hurt yourself.
Speaking of the Fantastic Four, that new movie, I see things about it, and I'm trying to reserve judgment. But everything I see about it, I just say I don't care.
Oh, it looks like crap.
That Doctor Doom picture that leaked, I said
Oh, I
he
know.
looks like Groot. If
Yeah,
you look at it, he looks like Groot with a cape. And I said,
right,
well, what are you doing? What,
right,
why? The Thing looks cool. I have to admit, I
right,
like that prop that they have for the Thing,
right.
but I don't like the way Doctor Doom looks, and I don't like. I heard that like it's not going to be based on the
On the
comics,
phone.
which is fine, but they're saying we're not going to use their backstory at all. And I said, then what is this movie? Is it
I'm
going to
not.
look like the
They
Fantastic
had to
Four?
make a movie, or else they'd lose the rights.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they make a crappy movie, and then they reboot it again, which is terrible. But they've done it before, Chris.
Oh yeah.
I have that movie that nobody has. That was just never
Oh,
released.
the original one.
Yeah, I have it on VHS. I got it in a comic book toy convention.
Nice.
I know. So it's a joke that they waste time and money just to hold on to the rights. And Sony too. Sony, first of all, the problem with Sony was they tried to they made the reboot I thought too early, but I liked Amazing Spider-Man. But then you said Why do you have to make it that Oscorp is responsible for every freaking villain? Because now what happens is Oscorp fell on its face. It sucks. Nobody wants to see the villains because they don't like the Rhino. They don't like the Green Goblin. They don't like anybody that's come from Oscorp. So now the only villain you could do is Kraven the Hunter because he's not Oscorp. Like, I mean,
Right.
even though these characters, mind you, were not created in the comics as part of Oscorp, but
Yeah.
the only one that would definitely not be would be Kraven. So now you're going to have a movie where you're going to have Kraven the Hunter, Chameleon, and Mysterio. And you're going to have the Illusion. You're going to have, like you can have that. Then you can have the Chameleon who's going to probably frame him.
Yeah.
So you can have that type of thing. Then you can have the Hunt. So they're going to try to throw all these characters in, and they're going to scrap all together what they're going to do with the Sinister Six. Okay, but now they got rid of the guy that was going to do that. I think he's doing Power Rangers, and I don't know if he was doing Star Trek or whatever. But it just all the original plans for the Sinister Six were scrapped. Not only that, but Andrew Garfield just ripped it to Sony and said why Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucked. Because he said they cut it to pieces, they changed everything, and they ruined the original vision.
It felt really. It felt like they went on a field day with changing that movie. I mean, I still see that fight with the Green Goblin at the end, and I say, why does it feel like there's more to this than what we saw? There is. I know there is for a fact, and it's like, why have him in the movie? What I said, Electro, had Electro been the only villain in that movie, that would have been awesome.
Awesome.
That would have been, because Jamie Foxx is my favorite part of that whole movie, when his portrayal of Electro.
Me too.
And I said, he was such a cool villain.
Gwen Stacy didn't have to die in this movie. She would have died in the next movie.
Yeah. See, I was with my friends, and I said, Electro's coming back, and my friends in there said, no, he's dead.
No, he's coming back. He's back.
He has to come back. He was a great villain.
I was actually wrong because I predicted he was going to be terrible, and I said it on air how wrong I was because I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was phenomenal. He was the greatest Electro I've ever seen.
I mean, that music that Hans Zimmer made, I think it was him, composed for him.
Oh, yeah.
The techno thing, I thought that was great.
I love that. I love
that whole thing. The design and everything.
And you think about it, and you're like, why the hell would you throw that in there with Gwen Stacy and Green Goblin? Why would you end the main villain of the movie before the movie's over?
Right.
It's like, and then the Green Goblin should have been the final villain, but then he's fighting Rhino. It's like, who cares? Rhino looked like something reject out of the Power Rangers.
He did.
Sword running at him. He looks like a Zord running at him.
Yeah. I mean, when they said the Rhino is going to be in this movie, I said, okay, logically we have this cross-species genetics.
Right, I thought that too.
That they introduced in the first one wouldn't have like a lot. And I said, okay.
Right. Yeah, but they didn't do that. They didn't do anything with the Rhino. They just made it like a metal suit, and it was just dumb. Yeah. Like, they just gave him a suit for no reason, this guy. We made millions of dollars suit. Here you go.
Yeah.
And then who's this guy that's going to break out, Harry Osborn? And what is this special disease that only 2 people in the world have it? Just the Osborns all throughout time. It's an Osborn. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And if that suit was supposed to stop the virus, why didn't the father wear it?
Yeah, really.
Like, I don't. Okay, and then why does he look like Evil Eddie from Fright Night? Like, he doesn't even look like a goblin. Why call himself the Goblin?
Well, I have to say I wasn't too critical of that design because of the one we got in the original series. But
right.
I mean,
did
you ever see the concept art of what the original Green Goblin was going to look like? I don't know what happens when you go into production with these movies. It's like they say, "Oh, this is really good. We can't use it because it's really good." So
I don't know why they never used it. Baffles me.
I mean, The Green Goblin was always. I used to watch the '90s cartoon. That's how I got introduced to Spider-Man. I think that's how a lot of people got introduced to it.
Right.
People who are my age.
Right.
And he was always one of my favorite villains. My favorite villain of all time is it's a tie between Venom and Carnage.
Right.
But I mean, that's another thing. Are we ever going to see Venom again?
Yeah.
And when is Carnage going to get?
Venom's. They're writing the script now for the Venom movie, and I think Carnage is going to be in the Venom movie, which is too soon too, because you got to establish Venom first before you throw Carnage in there. So, I mean, Carnage appeared in full appearances, Amazing Spider-Man 361, 362, and 363, and I bought like 10 copies of each. But you know, and that was a great storyline too when his Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Venom. I mean,
yeah. So I just they are still going ahead with Sinister Six, which is a mistake. They're even talking about making a Black Cat movie, which is a mistake because she was in the movie and it was crappy, like what they did with her.
Yeah.
She was like no good, nothing but a secretary. I just can't stand what they did with her because I'm a big Black Cat fan, and also I have the Black Cat in the comics now, which I'm glad Dan Slott put her in there, so she's like one of my favorites. But I don't know what the purpose is behind this Marvel with the Thor also not becoming worthy, losing his hammer, and female Thor, and Captain America, the super soldier serum failing, and him becoming old. And then the Falcon is a new Captain America. And then there's something else going on too. Oh yeah, and then the Red Skull digs up Professor X, rips his brain out, and gets his powers by eating his brain or something stupid for this storyline Axis. You know, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead. Professor X is dead because Cyclops killed him of all people. And Avengers are assassinated, which is ridiculous too. And then it's just these guys that are writing these books are just like they're like these kids, like even though they're adults, like, oh, what if we do that? What if we do that? And they're actually doing it in the comics, which, you know, back in the day would never been able to do that in comics because it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense why Cyclops would kill Professor X because he wouldn't ever. Okay, like you know, the Red Skull wouldn't even get near Professor X's grave, let alone rip his brain out of his head. Okay, that's like dumb. And the Red Skull having the powers of Onslaught, that's bull crap too. So, like this, I don't even know what they're doing. And then, dude, the Hulk now, they're like, oh, the Hulk has a new personality. He's like a professor called Dr. Green. Like, first of all, hello, corny. And second of all, you did that already in the 90s when he was like super smart and he was the leader of the Pantheon by Peter David. So, I mean, like, come on. They're just ripping off of old ideas, too. I don't know.
I don't understand. That Red Skull thing really makes me wonder, like, what do these writers do? I mean, no disrespect to them, but what do they do when they're in a writer's room if that's what they do? I mean, do they just kind of throw darts at a board and say that's a good idea?
Yeah. Let's turn the Hulk red, okay. It's like if you notice all these villains, right? Like these characters are all super muscle bound versions of the original. Like you know, like Venom, Spider-Man, like Captain America was like Crossbones. Remember that? And then I mean, those, you know, then they had a U.S. agent. It was like all kinds of different things that they had. It's just crazy how they just, you know, they keep putting out these other versions. You know, I don't know. It's just the comics.
There was a time where villains like that worked really well.
Right. Now it's just, you know, we had the Red Hulk. They're supposed to be better than the Green Hulk. And it's supposed to be Thunderbolt Ross. And then they threw in a Red She-Hulk, which was Betty. And I don't know. It just got crazy. Especially the comic books. Now Spider-Man, someone else was bitten by the radioactive spider besides Peter Parker. And it was a female. Her name is Silk. It was like, that's her hero name or whatever. And she was locked up because Moreland couldn't find out where she was. You know, which you remember Moreland, right? He's the guy that killed Spider-Man, but then Spider-Man came back. And then Spider-Man killed him or something. So it's just, he's like eternal. So now you have Silk, who has spider sense like Spider-Man. She weaves webs like Spider-Man, and her spider sense is supposedly better. And she's supposed to be better at weaving the webs like a queen spider or something. So that's crazy as well.
I think that's a cool, like, I think that's a cool meme for her. Silk is a origin could be different.
Mm. They just scrapped the Spider-Woman cover because they said it was too. You saw the original Spider-Woman cover they were going to come out with?
Yeah.
Yeah, they scrapped. Why for the controversy? Why? Marvel Comics is just, they don't need to do that. So I'm glad they scrapped that. But I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I don't want to send the wrong image.
Well, look what they're doing Shield now. Finally, they're throwing superheroes on Shield on TV. Which,
Yeah.
hello, that's much better. You know, Mockingbird, like Hawkeye's wife. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. You know, instead of referencing comics and villains and saying, "Oh, I got Thor on my speed dial," and just
show them.
Show
I
them.
mean,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Show, don't tell. I mean,
yeah. That's why I stopped watching Shield. I'm like, what are you talking? This is like stupid. You know?
See, I watched the first few episodes and I just said, "There's nothing going on here."
Right, I dropped off.
Yeah.
Off too. Captain America 2 saved that show.
Oh yeah.
Saved it. I gotta say, 'cause that was done. That was like done and then done.
I mean, if it wasn't for Captain America 2, I don't think that show would have any steam going forward. I think it would just.
Even Thor 2 helped it a little bit too.
Yeah, it did.
They had a little crossover and whatever. But yeah, I mean, now we got. I'm looking forward to. I gotta watch Shield for the last episode, and then we also have, the spinoff, which is
Agent Carter.
Yeah, which is I'm looking forward to that, and then you also got the Netflix shows, which you got Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and after a couple of years, they formed the Defenders. So
that's cool.
That's a nice grand plan for them. I'm looking forward to that with Marvel. But supposedly, with the comics now, in 9 months, everybody's dying. There's something. They got some big storyline. There's coffins. They're probably going to reboot the universe like DC did with the 52s or something.
Yeah, they're gonna have Galactus show up and be like,
eating the world like an apple.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they already messed around with the timeline from Mephisto when Spider-Man altered the whole. Like his timeline being altered kind of did fractures.
Yeah.
Throughout the Marvel universe, where Doctor Strange lost the title of Sorcerer Supreme because of that. Because he through his sanctum he led him to Mephisto by accident. So.
Yeah.
But and then all of a sudden people were dead or alive because the timeline's a little altered. Which Marvel never really completely altered their universe. They had, Age of Apocalypse, but then they turned it back. But this was the first time they actually changed the Marvel universe. And Spider-Man did it because it's a Civil War thing. Because Aunt May was dying, which is not believable either.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you about. Do you think the Marvel cinematic universe, you think that's heading towards Civil War?
No.
No, me neither.
No way. I would never have thought it in a million years because it's not ready for it.
No.
Yeah, they stole the Ultron thing from the comics that just came out months ago. But the next one has to be Infinity Gauntlet. That's what they've been building since Phase 1. Has to be Infinity Gauntlet. Avengers 4 would have a new roster. With probably Ant-Man and a whole bunch of new people. I don't ever see Robert Downey Jr. ever leaving. In fact, maybe his role would shrink, but I think he would be around always. And you don't need to have him do stunts because you can have his voices on it.
True, yeah.
So I don't know why he was fighting at all with hurting his ankle and stuff. That was just dumb that they had to do.
Well, aren't there no plans right now to do Iron Man 4?
No plans. He doesn't want to do it. He'll do, other movies, but he won't do that. So we're gonna have a Thor 3, which I think is Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Captain America 3 is gonna have Hawkeye in it instead of the Black Widow because they're they're kind of like not sure if they want to give them movies. So but they're leaning towards Black Widow now. But Hawkeye, they're definitely not going to make a Hawkeye movie, and the Hulk is probably going to be part of Phase 3 because they're probably going to. I don't know why they didn't announce Phase 3, to tell you the truth, unless they're waiting for Ant-Man to come out and then they're going to announce it. I think that's what they're going to do. When Ant-Man comes out, then they'll or whatever. But Doctor Strange, of course, is going to be part of Phase 3. I think Black Panther. I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and 3. Well, 2 would be, and then 3 would be part of something else. But Avengers 3, what else we have? 4, 3. They said the Inhumans, which I don't know why they would do that, but I guess they could take a risk. We'll see.
They did it. I think they took a slight risk with Guardians. How that turned out for them.
That was great, though. Guardians, yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is, the actors from X-Men have voiced their opinions that, Hugh Jackman says he wants to become an Avenger. Why not? So, and they're all, even Robert Downey Jr., back and forth, they're like, as long as these movie companies get some type of alliance, like they'll sign the contract and they'll do it. Even Andrew Garfield said he would do it, but it's just up to Sony, it's up to 20th Century Fox, and it's up to Disney.
Yeah.
To get that big Infinity Gauntlet crossover, and then you have everybody, which would be perfect.
And do it.
I would.
The more. It's not going to hurt the movie.
Right.
You're going to get so many people to go see it. It's going to be like out the door.
Right. Well, before that fight started, they actually had plans of X-Men versus Avengers.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
It was supposed. Yeah, it was supposed to be. It was going to be Hugh Jackman's final appearance as Wolverine. But then they scrapped all these plans. They even had somebody that they was supposed to be like an ambassador going back from movie company to try to bridge the gap. Once they did that with Days of Future Past, that was just done. And now Andrew Garfield came out speaking against Sony, saying, why it failed, and I don't know if they like that. So they were going to give him a bigger contract.
All of a sudden, they're starting to get the itch to introduce Ben Reilly. New actor, get you out of here, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Skull Spider.
Yeah, exactly. You're a clone, by the way.
Never know what they'll do. I saw that footage that they should see that footage that they had where the father was alive, who's at the graveside.
Oh, is that? Yeah, it was on the DVD.
Crap. That's crap.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
That's crap. Why would you bother? I'm glad they cut it anyway. But I don't know.
I have to tell you one day. I somewhere around here, when I was younger, I had an idea of how I would have done the original Spider-Man series. I had it written down into like 7 different movie ideas.
Right.
With 1, 2, and I had 1 and 2 stay the same, but I changed 3, and I wrote I did my own 4, 5, 6, and 7.
3 would have never happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The original plan was they were all supposed to come back, Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Then they were going to be Sinister Six. It was going to be, in fact, the Norman Osborn was supposed to wake up at the morgue. They're supposed to flashback, and he wakes up in the morgue and he's healed, but he's got the scar of the Goblin Glider on him. So, but they never did that either. So, we also have. I know you want to talk about Godzilla.
Well, I couldn't hear what you were saying before.
Oh, I said Norman Osborn was going to wake up at the morgue and they're going to show the scar of the Goblin Glider and he was going to be in the Sinister Six, but they never did that. And then I said, Godzilla, we're going to start talking about Godzilla now.
Why they didn't do? I mean, I understand that the 3rd movie kind of destroyed that series, but it would have been nice to see something closure for that movie, for that series. And
what did you think of Godzilla? You hear me, Chris? Godzilla. What did you think of Godzilla?
Oh, I had this idea about what they could do for 2 and 3. in a way, because they keep saying that they kind of want, like, eventually for there to be a storyline where humanity makes their own kaiju,
Okay.
where they don't have to rely on Godzilla or any other kaiju. So I was saying, a lot of people, when they said that, immediately thought Mechagodzilla, and I did too. But I said I don't think this universe kind of warrants Mechagodzilla yet.
Right.
I said, what if in 2, because I think 2 is definitely going to have Mothra in it.
Mothra,
I said,
Ghidorah, and Rodan.
yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I don't think Ghidorah is going to be in the second one. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have Rodan and Mothra be in the second one, right?
Okay.
And Rodan's going to have kind of a similar origin as Godzilla.
Right.
He's going to be like kind of.
Well, Mothra was in the first one.
Except one that just ruled the sky. Say again, I couldn't hear you.
No, I didn't hear what you said. I said that Mothra was in the first one.
Yeah,
He was in the tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was cracked. Like he was gone from the tank.
What I think they're gonna do is, I think they're gonna have Rodan and Mothra kind of have this like predator and prey kind of thing, and their conflict is gonna awaken Godzilla again, and he's gonna try to restore balance again. And what I think they're gonna do is, I think at the end you're gonna see Monarch, or maybe a new organization or something, is gonna have Godzilla and Rodan's genetics, and they're gonna combine them, and they're gonna inadvertently create Ghidorah, where you would get the flight from Rodan and the reptilian features from Godzilla, and you get Ghidorah's gravity beams could be like come from Godzilla's atomic blast. Because I can't think they're going to say Ghidorah's an alien in the series, and I don't think he's going to be a result of time travel like he was in the Heisei series.
Yeah, I like those two. Gigan, yeah, I like him too.
I hope they say, hey, you know what, we're going to keep going past 3, and we're going to have even more.
Well, the plan is the fourth one would be King Kong vs. Godzilla, because they have the rights to King Kong.
Also, I hope so.
They're doing a film next year with Loki, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Skull Island. Yeah. I hope. I mean, I'm all for it. If they're gonna do it, I think they should.
I heard by 2020. I heard that would be the targeted thing for Godzilla versus King Kong. 2, or whatever they call it. Yeah. So.
I'm also excited for Pacific Rim too, because apparently, like, they're gonna rebuild the Gypsy Danger. It's gonna be like Gypsy Danger.
I didn't see Pacific Rim. I got to see that, but I heard it was good.
Oh wow, yeah, definitely check that out, because the Pacific. Yeah. I thought Godzilla was better, but Pacific Rim was definitely good, and it's definitely something to check out.
Okay. We have other news too. Besides King Kong coming back, besides Godzilla coming back, who else are they bringing back? I know they're coming out with He-Man in a couple of years. They're going to come out with a new version of He-Man Master of the Universe. I think with Channing Tatum. I think they're working on that in the back burner. So, if only they could do Thundercats, that would be good. Live action.
That'd be weird.
Could you hear me?
No, I couldn't. I heard He-Man, and then I heard.
Yeah, He-Man.
Channing Tatum, and that was.
Yeah. Supposedly He-Man's coming out in a couple of years too. All right, what I think we're going to do is I think we're going to get off here, because I think there's technical difficulties with this. Maybe we'll try to do a Hangout, Google Hangout, back to format. Alrighty, so thank you, Chris. Thanks everybody, and the Everything Show is back. So take care, bye for now.